All right, guys. Paul Bates. Good morning. Captain Paul here aboard Southern State. And today we're back up on the bridge. And today I'm going to grab this Samsung tablet here because we're going to talk about navigation, is what we're going to talk about. So I want to show you guys kind of here, see the best I can do here with what I got here. But I want to kind of show you what I do for navigation. But before I get started, let's talk real quick about what I use. I'm going to face the camera down on these pads right here because then I'll explain to you what I do. Okay, so I have two tablets here. I have an iPad and a Samsung tablet. This Samsung tablet right here, and I'll put the link down below for this tablet um, from Amazon because I just bought it off Amazon for about $200. It was a little over $200. Anyway, I bought this tablet on Samsung, and this is my main source of navigation. Now, the reason I don't use the Apple is because the Apple just doesn't navigate well. It doesn't auto navigate. And then this particular iPad, it just what happened is it doesn't have, and I didn't know that when I bought the iPad, it doesn't have built-in GPS. To have built-in GPS, you have to buy the iPad that is connected to the cell towers. So if you don't have that, your iPad, it just doesn't work well with Navionics. So I don't recommend anybody using
I'm not
iPad.
sure I understand.
Oops, sorry, Siri. anyway, anyway, so but I do keep it on here and I do use it. It won't auto navigate is the reason I don't like it. I used it in the beginning, but then I said I can't use this anymore. But I do use it. And what I use it for basically is like if I'm out there on the water and I want to put a new location in for something, then I'll jump into this thing right here, and I'll do that without disturbing this tablet right here, because this tablet right here is my main source of navigation. And what I like about the Samsung is it will it'll auto navigate. I've never had it never come back and say too many waypoints. And what it is Apple only gives you, I think it's 25 waypoints on auto nav. So that's why I don't use it, and that's why I prefer to use. I personally prefer to use um, the Samsung tablet. So, and again, I'll put the link down there for you guys. So anyway, and then I just hit this right here, open up my tablet. It's coming alive right now. And what the first thing that I want to do when I'm getting ready to leave here is I want to go ahead and mark out all of my probable stops, where I may be stopping, where I won't be stopping, and then all my locks, all my bridges, because it's important to know the heights of different bridges. If I'm going to have to lower anything, or if I'm going to, if I have to ask for a raise or anything like that. And what I mean by that is ask them to raise the bridge because it's low. And so what I do here is I just kind of zoom out. And I'm just going to do this as an example today. It won't necessarily be where I stop. So you can see right here, this little guy right here, that's where we are currently on the river system. And if you wanted to zoom in right there, I can just zoom in. I love Navionics, but I'm pretty good at it. I've learned the software pretty well, and so now I know what to do. And look at it's even got me right into the slip that I'm in Kingfisher Marina right there, and that is the slip that I'm sitting in. That's how accurate it is. So, and another thing that I like to do because of auto nav, and again, you can't trust everything 100% of the time. You got to use some common sense. If you see buoys going, you want to follow probably the buoy markers and not this electronics. Happened to me twice on the entire loop where I've the Navionics auto said go this way, but I just chose to follow the buoys. It was typically in a some type of a river system or canal system, and typically it told me to take a little shortcut, and I didn't take it. I would just follow the nav buoys. So anyway, okay, you can see right here. Now uh, I've already marked out all of my locks. So this is the first lock that we get to. And the information I'll get for this lock right here, I actually called them yesterday. I'm trying to do a video to actually go into the locks, but I didn't know this because of 9/11. They won't just let you. That's why all the locks are all fenced off all the way around them, and you're not allowed in there. It all has to do with 9/11. It doesn't really have to do with anything else but what happened in 9/11. Because right now I'm trying to get permission to go into a lock and go over to the lock master and then take a video of a tow going through there. But I'm not having very much luck with it. So anybody knows anybody that can get me in there, just let me know because I really want to go do the video, especially while I'm sitting here. So anyway, this gives me all the information right here that I need about the lock, and um, so there's the phone number right there. So I would just call that phone number. It's public knowledge to anybody. I would call that phone number the day before that I'm going to go through the lock. I'd say, hey, you got any prediction on traffic tomorrow? I want to go through there. This is the time I want to go through, and all that stuff. Now, if I wanted to mark this, if I didn't have it marked, let me show you how to. I would do that. I would come in here, and I would just tap on here, hit the Denopolis thing, and then just hit the marker right here. Now I've already, I'll hit it, but I've already hit it, and so it's already marked right there. And then it'll just say save, and then I save it. And now that mark is there. And at any time throughout the entire trip, I'll be able to see that. Also, you can kind of see right here. You can kind of see all the little dots right here. All those little dots right there are places that I have stopped on the loop, or they could be a bridge, or they could be um, a lock or something like that. As you can see, the Erie Canal here. There's a lot of them over here at the Erie Canal, but it's kind of cool. Every once in a while, I go around to see. Man, look at how much I've accomplished. That's just crazy to me. I like looking at it. So anyway, let's get back to the point here. So now we know that that lock is there. We'll call the lock the day before we get to the lock, and then we move on to the next. Now, I'll pre-plan, and I'll tell this to everybody every single time. Local knowledge is everything. So I've talked to Bob and Karen. They're on a big boat just down here, probably about towards the end of the dock there, and I spent probably a half an hour with them, and then they gave me all kinds of notes. So what I'll do today is I'll go through here and I'll mark out everything that they told me on those notes. So Bobby's Fish Camp is one of the places that is the only real place that you can stop between here and there. It'll have fuel. They don't have any restaurant or anything like that. We will probably not go to Bobby's Fish Camp, only because it's about 95 miles from here. And after talking to Bob and Karen, they said, here, this is what we do, Paul. And you can do whatever you want. They've done this trip 10 times. So I've got to go with a 10-time veteran. I wish I was going with them. But they are going to leave later. I think they're leaving about 2 or 3 weeks after we leave. Anyway, they said go to Bashy. So then all I have to do here is put that in there, and then I'll put where I think I'm going to go. But let's just go Bobby's Fish Camp right now. So we'll go Bobby's. Okay, so Bobby's Fish Camp pulls up. Now, I've already marked it out here because, again, I was planning on this route a while back. So, but if I hadn't, I would go ahead and mark that. I would go ahead and put me, because that's a milestone that I want to save on my Navionics. And also now, if I wanted to navigate to there, all I do is hit that right there. It says Bobby's Fish Camp. Whoop, let's hit it again. Sorry. Bobby's Fish Camp. And then I'm going to say boat 2, and then I just hit my boat 2. Now this is all doing this automatically, so its brain is thinking right now, and it's trying to give me a course from this marina. And what it'll do is it'll give me all kinds of information, because it's going to give me times, dates, exact times. And when I say exact times, I mean it'll tell me how much time I have left to get to the marina. It'll tell me what time I'm going to get to the marina. It'll tell me how long it's going to take me at the current speed that I'm going to. So even if I speed up, slow down, whatever I do, it'll make a difference. And it'll tell me what time in the afternoon. So let's say I was communicating with Bobby's Fish Camp I could tell them almost to the minute the exact time that I'm going to get to that marina just by using this not necessarily auto because you could do all this manually, but manually to just takes so long. I tried it in the very beginning. I didn't know what to do, what I was doing. I didn't know how to auto navigate, and it took me a long time to figure it out. So anyway, so now it's done calculating the path here. So let's push go. So right here, this will be my miles per hour. That'll be how many miles per hour, and it's 96.7 miles. Now, if the boat was moving, it would tell me over here, it would tell me how long it's going to take me to get there, the time, and everything like that. And it's going to do that here in a second. Because we're not moving though, it'll just show an infinity of time. But you can see right there, that is my route right there, and I will follow that. All I do is stay on that pink line. I just keep the boat right there on that pink line as close as I can to that pink line. And typically, because you can see right here, it's even taking me into the lock right here. So it's all cool. And then you can hit these triangles anytime you want. And then that'll give you information, and it's probably going to say that there's a lock there and stuff like that. Be careful, shallow water. But you can see right there, I mean, it's all done automatically. I don't have to do anything. So if I want to check the height of this bridge, this is a good bridge. And we'll go ahead and just mark this bridge out because this is something we're going to hit. So I'll hit that. And then I'm just going to hit my marker. And all that does for me personally, this is how I feel about that. It just lets me know on the navigation that there is something there. Right here, I can see a 95-foot height and a 95-foot height, 95-foot height, all three things. There must be a wire running across there too. And it's giving me all that information just by looking at that. But if it's not, and there was some question, I can actually tap on the bridge right there and it says US 80 bridge. But then if I want more information about that bridge, I just come over here. It says on the Tim Tom, mile 204. Is there any contact unknown? Bridge closed height at high water is 121 feet. So that's really the only information that we need to know. So you could be, any sailboat could get under that bridge. So that's a pretty easy bridge. Also, I haven't had any bridges that I've had to raise, but there is one at the end of this route right here. So now I can just keep going here, and every time I see one of these warning little guys right here, I may add a signal, sorry, I may add a spot, or I may not, a marker. I just got to look at it and see, but you can see right here, that's going to be a shallow spot right there. They're going to call that's probably a bar right there. So I won't mark it just because I'll pay attention when I'm coming around these corners and stuff like that. So, and also these little red things right here, those are going to be your buoy markers. And so you got green and red. And remember, red, right, return. And what they mean by that is if you're coming from the ocean, that's how all navigation is set up. If you're coming from the ocean, red, right, return. Your red buoys will be on your right-hand side. So they're saying if you're in Mobile Bay or out in the ocean and you're coming into Mobile Bay, your buoys would be on your right. So when we go out, they'll be on our left-hand side. I don't know if any of you guys know that, but that's just navigation. So here you can see a boat ramp right here. And it's just, I love the auto navigating part of this. I didn't understand it in the beginning when I started America's Great Loop, but in the end, whew, I really, really liked it. And I'm lazy. I don't want to sit here and just put waypoint after waypoint after waypoint after waypoint after waypoint. It's just, it'll get old. It'll wear you out there. Plus, trust me, on America's Great Loop, you've got plenty of other things to do than to worry about how to navigate the waters. And so this is a great tool right here. And this is why I always say, so right here, we'll just mark, and there's two bridges here, but I'll just mark one. I'll just put a marker here on one bridge. And we're just going to hit our marker right there. Oops. Marker. And then we just hit save. And I want to just look at the heights on those right there because I will hit these the first day. So 75 feet of height. Let's look at this one right here. Sorry. Boom. And I want to look at all the information that I have on that bridge right there. It's channel 13, VHF. Bridge closed height at high water is 52 feet. So in Southern Estate, we have nothing to worry about because our height to the top of the mast, to the actual um, top of the radar mask is 19 feet 6 inches. You know how I know that? Because I hit something in the Erie Canal. So anyway, then you can see right here, there's more right here. Now this is an Anchorage right here. Let's look at this Anchorage. Barron's Landing. So somebody must have told me about this one right here. But we'll keep going, and I'll keep looking to figure out where I'm going. So this is where we're actually going to stop right here. This is the Anchorage that they recommend that we stop at. And also I've been recommended that we anchor on this side over here if possible. But I'm going to go ahead and mark this Anchorage because this Bashi is our first. This will be our first Anchorage of the trip. So I'm going to hit my marker. The only reason I know this where this is kind of is because I remember Karen and Bob when we went over it. This is where they told me to anchor my first night, and I probably will. So you can just tuck into this creek right here. And again, this is all local knowledge. Is the reason that I know any of this. If it wasn't for local knowledge, I wouldn't know anything about any of these stops right here because I've never been there before, so I couldn't do anything. They say there's a possible, if the water's low, there's going to be a dock there that I can get Daisy off and she can go to the bathroom. If the water's high, the dock will be covered. So they said also be careful coming in here. Don't go too far to the back right there because there's logs in there. And again, that's all local knowledge telling me that. Now, their advice is to just anchor right over here, is where they're telling me to anchor. Because it's safe in there. You don't have to worry about a tow, good holding ground, and you don't have to. The further you get back in here, there'll be trees over the boats, and they just don't like the snakes and stuff like that. So then from there, it's about, I think it's about 12, 15 miles to Bobby's Fish Camp. So you can see right here, that's Bobby's Fish Camp right there. That's the end. But we're going to go past that our second day. And I'll mark out multiple anchorages. I'll mark out multiple stops because you never know what's going to happen. I mean, I lose an engine, anything could happen. So we'll have a backup plan and then a backup plan on top of a backup plan in case things go bad. Also, when we get past this last lock right here, you can see I have it marked right here. Now we go back into tide pools. So tide and current will affect us once we get past this lock again, which we haven't had to deal with for a long time. So we got to get our feet wet. So tomorrow I'm going to really talk about, I'm going to set the iPad down here for a few minutes. But tomorrow we're going to talk about weather because weather is another key factor of, weather is another key factor of when we go, how we go, and stuff like that. So I want to talk to you about the apps that we personally use on this boat, what I pay for, the subscriptions that I pay for on weather. We'll talk about that tomorrow. And then we'll talk about whose job, because believe it or not, Beverly is the one that takes care of most of the weather related stuff. Anyway, Paul Bates, peace out. Have a wonderful day at work. And remember, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. Share it with your friends. I do appreciate it. We broke 5,000 last night, so that's a very exciting milestone here. And before I hang up here, there's a couple new features too that's going on. One is I've added dual mics to their wireless mics to the GoPro. So when we leave this marina and we go to the different locks and stuff like that, you'll be able to hear me and Bev communicating with each other, connected directly to the GoPro. So that should be some cool footage. Also, I'm going to change where the GoPros. I've got some new mounts for the GoPros. So I'm going to mount, like I want you guys to see my hands, what I'm doing with the boat as I'm doing it, going in and out of the locks, because it's a lot of times I'll call it out, but sometimes I don't. So anyway, David, good morning. Tony, good morning. Russell, good morning. Gemini Traveler, good morning. I hope everything's going good for you, TJ. We also have learned from TJ's lessons that once we get past that second lock there, once we get into the Mobile, things completely change. We got to go back, and I'm going to talk about this on tomorrow is weather. Thursday, we'll talk about the preparation of the boat because we have to screw every single thing has to be screwed or taped down because once we hit that Mobile Bay, things are going to completely change for us. We're going to be in 1 to 2 foot seas. There's no question about that. But we could be into possibly 3 to 4 foot seas. And if we are, there's going to be stuff's going to go. We're going to be back in this situation where stuff will go everywhere. So TJ learned that one the hard way. Good morning, Harold. Anyway, peace out. Again, thank you guys for watching. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe, and we'll see you in the morning. Thank you guys. Bye.